You know, for the last 40 years, we've watched movies get bigger, louder, and more spectacular on screen, but honestly, that's only half the story. The real revolution, the one that changed everything, happened behind the scenes. So today, we're gonna track how the entire system of filmmaking was completely remade. From, a physical object you could hold in your hand to a stream of data generated by an algorithm.
Just think about this for a second. In 1985, a movie was this tangible thing, a big, clunky VHS cassette. Now, fast forward to today, and a movie can be pure data. A scene literally conjured into existence by an AI. We've gone from a mechanical, physical process to a purely algorithmic one. And the wildest part, it all happened in just 4 decades.
And that's the key takeaway here. This is not just a story about special effects getting a little bit better each year. No way. It's a story about the complete and total revolution of an entire industry pipeline. From the moment a camera starts rolling, all the way to what you're watching on your couch right now.
So, let's start our journey in the 1980s. This was an era defined by a totally new kind of revolution, one that brought Hollywood right into our living rooms for the very first time.
Back then, the VCR was absolute king. VHS won the big format war, and suddenly you could actually own a movie. Companies like Blockbuster just popped up everywhere, completely changing how we found new films. But behind all that, making a movie was this grueling, hands-on process. Editing was linear, which means you were physically cutting and splicing magnetic tape together in order. One wrong cut, you could ruin the entire master copy. And the edit suites themselves, oh man, they were like something out of NASA, costing upwards of $1 million. So this was the first industry pipeline. It was a one-way street, a physical chain of events. First, everything was shot on actual celluloid film. Then, it was run through a machine called a telesync to turn it into an electronic signal. And finally, that signal was recorded onto a physical VHS tape for you to go out and rent. Everything was a tangible object you could touch.
Okay, so as we roll into the 90s, a totally new force was starting to emerge. Something that would begin to replace physical film altogether, the humble pixel. And this was the moment CGI got real. James Cameron's Terminator 2 gave us the T-1000, the first ever lead character that was partially computer-generated. He built on what he learned from The Abyss, and this liquid metal marvel proved that CGI could create a believable, central figure that was absolutely essential to the story. It was a complete game changer. And then, just 2 years later, boom! Jurassic Park changed absolutely everything. When Steven Spielberg saw the first CGI test for the T-Rex, he knew right then and there that the old world of stop-motion models and miniatures was basically over. His reaction? It really captured the feeling of an entire industry realizing it was on the verge of a massive, seismic shift. This was the dawn of photorealistic, living, breathing digital creatures. But the revolution wasn't just happening up on the screen. It was happening in the edit bay. See, nonlinear editing systems like the Avid Media Composer came along and just completely destroyed the old, rigid way of doing things. All of a sudden, an editor could jump to any frame, at any time, instantly. The creative freedom and the speed this gave filmmakers, it was just unprecedented.
And so the pipeline evolved. You might still shoot on film, but once that film was digitized, the entire post-production process, from editing to visual effects to color, it all moved into the computer. The final product wasn't even a film reel anymore, but a data file called a digital cinema package, or a DCP.
Right, so this digital wave, it didn't just stop in post-production. In the 2000s, it came for the cameras, it came for the theaters, and ultimately, it came for the very idea of how a movie even gets to you. And the change started happening incredibly fast. Look at this. 2002, Attack of the Clones goes fully digital. By 2005, digital projectors are taking over theaters. 2007, Netflix makes its big pivot to streaming. And then by 2019, you've got The Mandalorian creating virtual sets in real time with these giant LED walls. In less than 20 years, physical film was basically vanishing from the entire process. The pipeline was now almost entirely data-driven. The final movie file gets converted into a super high-quality mezzanine file, and then it's sent out to platforms like Netflix, making it available instantly, anywhere in the world. Movies were officially untethered from physical locations. And, well, that brings us to today, right to the edge of the most radical shift yet. A change not just in the tools, but in the very act of creation itself, all driven by artificial intelligence. You see, AI is no longer just a tool for touching things up or making small fixes. It's becoming a creative partner. It can de-age actors flawlessly, generate entire realistic backgrounds, and automate complex visual effects tasks that used to take teams of people weeks. The whole creative process is shifting from a technical skill to a matter of pure creative intent and, good prompting.
So the pipeline, it's not even a straight line anymore. It's becoming a loop. The massive libraries of content on streaming services are being used to train AI models, which then generate brand new content. It's a fundamental change in how stories are even conceived of. It's a world where media creates media.
So what does this whole 40-year journey actually mean for us? Well, I think one of the biggest takeaways is the absolutely incredible democratization of the tools you need to create. This is just wild to think about. In 1985, a professional edit suite would set you back $1 million. That's more than $2 million in today's money. It was accessible only to an elite few. Today, you have more filmmaking power in a phone that costs less than $1,000. Professional-grade tools have literally gone from exclusive studios into almost everyone's pocket. But there's a hidden cost to all this progress. A single blockbuster movie production generates, on average, 3,370 metric tons of CO2. I mean, that's enough to power hundreds of homes for an entire year. From these massive film sets to the energy-hungry data centers that power streaming and now AI, this technological march has a very, very real environmental impact.
So the tools to create are more accessible than they have ever been, but the very nature of creation itself is being redefined by algorithms. And this leaves us with a pretty critical question. In this new world, who gets to be the storyteller? What does authorship even mean when the pipeline starts and maybe even ends with a machine? That's the frontier we're all standing on right now.